Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. It is Denise Salcedo. It is now time for Speak Now Pro Wrestling. Today, we are going to be talking about the November 23rd edition of WWE NXT 2.0, which was actually a pretty entertaining episode, I gotta say. I think out of all of the recent NXT 2.0 episodes, maybe aside from like the first one, which was the official rebrand episode, this was probably one of the strongest episodes of NXT 2.0 that we've had in quite some time. I very much enjoyed it. I think we got pretty good wrestling on tonight's show. There was obviously some bad wrestling for some people, but for the most part, it was an overall good show, which moved forward a lot of things. We're getting that build towards NXT WarGames. So overall, we had some good stuff. I will go through everything in a nice chronological format. But before we get started, I do want to welcome you guys all to the channel. I want to say thank you so much for each and every single one of you guys who support me, who support my show. I could not do this without you. Additionally, if you guys do want to get your comment, your question, or your statement read on the stream, feel free to send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, I will make sure to read your comment on here, pop it up on the screen. Additionally, I do get to keep 100% of all proceeds from super chats, so they are very much appreciated on this channel. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the NXT 2.0. I will catch you up on everything that's going on. So if you're somebody that doesn't watch the show, no fear. I'll give you the 411, everybody. But here we go. We got our first super chat of the day. So I'm going to kick things off with a super chat from Darth Stevens 777. Thank you so much for all the love on Twitter, all the love on here. Darth says, much love to you, Denise, and hi, the egg. For those of you who do not know, I am at this point predicting WWE storylines. That is right. I am predicting storylines now. So at Survivor Series, when they introduced this golden egg, when Vince McMahon came out and he said that the egg was worth $100 million, I decided to tweet out that I was going to fly myself to Brooklyn and that I was going to steal the egg. I kid you not, about 35, maybe 40 minutes after I tweeted that, the egg had been stolen. The egg had been stolen, ladies and gentlemen. I foreshadowed that. Additionally, I was telling people, don't snitch on me. Don't snitch on me for stealing the eggs. A bunch of people were tagging me on Sonya's page, Adam Pearce's page, WWE's page, etc. And I said, don't snitch on me. And then the segment on Raw, Vince McMahon said he didn't like snitches. I mean, at this point, I'm writing WWE Raw at this point, which is not really the best thing to say, but I am predicting now a lot of those storylines. Thank you so much to Darth Steven for sending in our first super chat of the day, guys. But we got a lot of different thoughts. I can't talk today, guys. I'm depressed. I just found out I got my first famous person block. Or my first block from a famous person, I gotta say, kind of made me a little bit sad and depressed. It's my first time. I've never been blocked by anybody that wasn't just a random ordinary person. So I gotta say, it kind of threw me off my game a little bit. But anyways, we're gonna get towards all the action here today. And we got a lot of people sending in some good stuff in here right now. And we got people basically saying that, let's get some thoughts in. This one's from Tony. Says tonight's NXT 2.0 was freaking loud. The crowd was pretty much into the show because it was a pretty decent show here tonight. I'm not going to trash tonight's episode of NXT. It was a good show. Pedro Soto says, I just watched the clip from last night. You were the best for that whole show. Jesus Christ. That was an interesting night to say the least, everybody. But let's go ahead and get into NXT because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Pedro Soto says, who blocked you, Denise? We need to know. All right. Only three people on this planet, besides the person who blocked me, know who blocked me. the three people that know, and I'm not going to reveal the person's name on here. I told Sean, so Sean knows who blocked me. I told my fiance, he knows who blocked me. And Lance Storm, it was so funny. The second I tweeted that out, Lance Storm hit me up on a DMs and was like, Denise, I need to know who blocked you. And so those are the only three people that know who blocked me. All right, let's go ahead and move on, everybody. Let's get the night started with probably what was my favorite, actually second favorite match of the night, because we had a really strong main event and we also had a really strong opening match. So we had Grayson Waller versus Tommaso Ciampa. And right now, I'm sorry, but I need credit for this, but all these past few weeks of NXT 2.0, I have been coming onto the show every single week, and I've been saying, Grayson Waller, he has something, guys. He has something, guys. And I feel that for the most part, not a lot of people were necessarily all of that convinced when I said that you should keep an eye out for Grayson Waller. Granted, he didn't really have much of a character on NXT 2.0, and granted, they did put him in that really goofy storyline at Halloween Havoc with LA Knight, where they were both fighting to be the host of Halloween Havoc, which was really, really dumb, right? But I told you guys, I told every single person that watched this show, keep an eye out for Grayson Waller. He is good. We've seen shades and glimpses of him being good. I was even mad. I remember coming on here and saying, stop giving Grayson Waller all of these losses because they legitimately have something with him here. I feel today was the day that I think a lot of people actually saw what Grayson Waller could bring to the ring. And granted, a lot of people were like, wait, Grayson Waller's a heel now? Grayson Waller's a heel? And he was not really a heel before, but he also really didn't have a character. So now they've at least given him something. But I've been a fan of his because from what I saw that he could do in the ring, those little glimpses of what we saw, what he can do, were the things that kind of got him over for me in general. So let's talk a little bit about what Grayson Waller and Tommaso Ciampa did in this match that really made it that good. So first and foremost, they kick off the show, right? We got our, WWE intro package, the intro for the show. So they're playing the intro, and usually I have it on the background in terms of I have multiple tabs open. And I started hearing a voice saying, cut this music out, cut it. I'm here, I'm ready to start talking, etc. And I was like, who the hell is that? Like, who's talking? And why are they cutting the intro? It completely threw me off. And it ended up being Grayson Waller. So he's out there in the mic, basically doing an in-ring promo. He's addressing The Rock. He's addressing the Twitter freaks out there. He literally starts telling the Twitter freaks that have 80,000 tweets that they post out, but they only have 3 followers. So he's out there cutting this big heel promo, etc. He's addressing The Rock. He's addressing Roman Reigns, etc. And I'm like, okay, this is okay. Like, I wasn't necessarily like sold on it, but at least they're giving him an actual presence on the show now versus before he was kind of just a guy that was there playing Tinder with Cameron Grimes. There really wasn't anything else to him besides the good wrestling stuff that we were seeing from him. But anyway, so he gets into this match with Tommaso Ciampa, and the reason why I personally really like this match is because Tommaso Ciampa, first and foremost, is one of my favorite wrestlers, period. He is the guy that when I think, man, I wish I was a billionaire so that I could start my own promotion and I could book all of my dream matches, Tommaso Ciampa is the guy that I'd be booking in all of these dream matches, okay? He should be a guy that literally, every time Tommaso Ciampa, it makes me so mad. I don't know how else to say this, but it makes me so mad to think that there are so many dream matches with Tommaso Ciampa and all of these other guys on the roster, whether they're on Raw, SmackDown, etc. He could be having these like phenomenal matches, but they're not doing that. Whatever. So it makes me mad. But either way, this match was hard-hitting. You really saw Grayson Waller actually go toe-to-toe with Tommaso Ciampa. One of my favorite portions of this was when Grayson Waller literally striked Tommaso Ciampa, and he showed a lot of intensity. I'll give him credit. Grayson Waller showed a lot of intensity, but then his intensity, for as much as it was, did not compare, did not come close to anything that Tommaso Ciampa did. Tommaso Ciampa came in and was just like literally beating the living hell out of Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller was wearing pink shorts, and by the end of this match, because of all the chops that he had been taking, his chest, Grayson Waller's chest literally matched his shorts. Okay, so I really liked all of that. He really took a beating. That was really good. I liked when Ciampa got him with several clotheslines, one of which even took him to the outside of the ring. And the second he got up into his feet, by that point, Tommaso Ciampa had already gotten out and then got him in another clothesline. So that was really sick. We saw Grayson Waller tease a people's elbow spot in the ring. That was pretty funny. He did hit Tommaso Ciampa with a really nice spine buster there. So that was really cool. We see Grayson Waller also hit him with an elbow from the middle rope, which was pretty cool. He goes for the pin. It's a near fall. And then in the end, we do see a win from Tommaso Ciampa. I really like this, guys. This was a fun match, and this really just proves my point that Grayson Waller has a lot of potential. Let's get some thoughts, guys. How did you feel about this match? What did you think of Tommaso Ciampa versus Grayson Waller? What are your thoughts on Grayson Waller, period, since he seems to be a major topic of today? Also, I will note now, as you guys get your thoughts in, that at this point, we were 25 minutes into the show, okay? And I went on Twitter to check to see if NXT was trending. NXT was not trending in the first 25 minutes of the show. However, and this is the top 25 trends, okay? They were not trending, not even in the top 25 minutes into the show. But Grayson Waller was trending at number 23, so kudos to him. I did not follow up to check if NXT ended up trending by the end of the night. I kind of forgot because I was making memes about Joe Gacy, but it did take them a while to get trending, which kind of not bums me out, but it kind of just goes to show the shift in interest in NXT versus what it was before, the interest in NXT before to what it kind of is now. There has been a major change. But let's see what we got here, guys. We got a super chat from Jordan Booth, which I appreciate very much. Jordan says, general appreciation donation. You rock, Denise. Thank you so much, guys. Once again, I do make all of my, not all, but If you send in super chats, they help me out. I do get to keep 100% of the proceeds from super chats, guys. And let's get some thoughts in here. We got one from Mac Hensley who says, a few weeks ago, I said on here I wasn't really into Ciampa as a newer NXT viewer. I take all that back. This match ruled and both men looked great. I want to see more of that Waller every week. If you are a new NXT viewer, it depends because I'm not sure when you started watching the show. So I'm not really sure how much of Tommaso Ciampa you've seen. Like, if you literally just seen, like, I don't know, maybe, see, I don't know. I was going to say, if you've only seen a couple of matches, then I can see why you're maybe not that big of a fan. But here's the thing, though. I like every single match that Tommaso Ciampa's in, so I can't even say that confidently because I legitimately like everything that he does. Even when he was teaming with Thatcher, I really liked all of the teamwork that he did with Thatcher, honestly. Let's get some comments here. This one's from Zeno Hour, who says, with this current title run, Ciampa is showing he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He can have a good match with just about anybody. Pro Wrestling TV says Tommaso Ciampa is the only reason left to watch this shit show every week. Oh, my poor show, shaking my head. EBA says, somehow tonight's show had great pacing. Most of it mattered, and it was a lot less frantic tonight. I agree, because a lot of the stuff that happened on tonight's show moved a lot of the storylines forward, okay? A lot of what we were getting was just a bunch, prior to this, what we were getting was just a bunch of new people trying out these new characters, a bunch of matches that didn't mean anything, that nobody really cared about, that weren't good in the ring, that the stories weren't interesting. And now we're at least going to, we're going to something. We're headed in a direction. We're taking baby steps. We're headed into WarGames. So we'll have that to talk about in just a second here. This is another comment from Pro Wrestling TV who says, if you are a new NXT viewer, I recommend you stop watching. Okay, here we go. We need to address this, guys. We need to address this, all right? I don't know. As somebody who's been watching NXT 2.0 since its birth and has watched every episode, I will say this, like, it's not, if you were into the NXT Black and Gold brand and that was for you, then this is most likely not for you. This is most likely not a show for you. However, with that being said, if you are maybe open-minded, if you are maybe looking for something different, but not necessarily, there's been some gems, okay? There's been some gems on NXT 2.0. There's been some, okay? So it really just depends on what type of things you're interested and what you're willing to invest your time in, okay? So that's like me saying, at least give it maybe some sort of a try, okay? I don't want to bury the show, guys. I don't want to do that. Justin Martin says, Ciampa will never really get the credit he deserves as one of the best all-around performers in the business. Waller did his part to make an exciting match as well. Exactly. It's not like you can go out there, and Tommaso Ciampa is the kind of guy that can have a good match with just about anybody, but obviously it also requires the other person to put his part into it too. So, and you did see that from Waller as well. And we got a super chat from Sheldon Jackson. Thank you so much to Sheldon, who says, Cora Jade with the line of the night, talking about how can they coexist, and we're too old for that. That made me laugh and be like, thank you at the same time. Oh, we'll talk about that. Cora Jade had a gem. We might as well mention it now. There was a backstage interaction in which Cora Jade tells the women that she doesn't want to see them do the whole they can't coexist thing. She's like, let's not do the coexisting thing. It's old and it's boring. And she completely shit on the coexisting thing, which made me very happy. But then at the same time, pissed me off, because that means that they are fully aware, and I knew this. I knew they were fully aware that the coexisting thing was terrible, that it was repetitive, and we were literally just getting ribbed, okay? Do you have any idea, as somebody who watches Raw, NXT, and Smackdown, and all the pay-per-views, do you have any idea how many coexisting storylines I have sat through in literally just this year, in like this last couple of months? I have sat through and gone through so many coexisting. It was a funny thing, but at the same time, I'm like, damn. So you're telling me they knew that it was crap and they still put it out there. Anyways, sorry for the rant. Thank you so much, Sheldon Jackson, for sending in this super chat. All right, let's continue on, everybody. Let's get into this next topic. So overall, if you did not watch NXT tonight, go out of your way. Check out Grayson Waller versus Tommaso Ciampa. That's something to definitely check out here. All right, earlier in the night, it's teased that Kaylee Ray is most likely going to be the fourth member of WarGames. We'll get to that in just a second, but let's get into Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson. So Cameron Grimes has a brand new look. He's got short hair, probably about here. He's probably got the length of maybe AJ Styles' hair, probably around that length. Trimmed beard, looks pretty great, looks pretty good. Shout out to Cameron Grimes. He's a charming fella. He comes out and he starts cutting this emotional promo, basically talking about how he kept his hair and he kept his beard to remind him of the times when he had nothing. And he kind of gets very emotional about the events that occurred last week. Now, last week they did that poker segment, and I do not want to remember the poker segment. I do not want to remember the poker segment. Last week's episode of NXT was not good, and the poker segment was by far probably one of the worst things it was just not for me, okay? So this was a huge improvement on all of that. But Cameron Grimes, essentially, he's out there cutting this emotional promo. Duke Hudson pops up on the screen, and from the looks of it, Duke Hudson is getting groomed. He's getting his hair done, or his beard, or whatever he's doing. He's got he's sitting in a chair. He's got his little cape over him, got his products there. So he's getting some sort of barbershop treatment, whatever. So Duke Hudson, he appears on screen, and he basically starts telling Cameron Grimes, like, dude, he starts mocking him, all right? He's mocking him. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, and I've said this a million times. I'm just not, I need more. I need more with the Duke Hudson storyline. Like, I just like, you got Cameron Grimes on one side, who is so charismatic, so much charisma. Duke Hudson is not at the same level as Cameron Grimes. So sometimes for me, it's kind of a little bit where I'm just like, oh, I'm not really feeling it, but whatever. Let's progress. Cameron Grimes tells Duke Hudson that he is gutless and nutless. I repeat, gutless and nutless. That was pretty funny. I like that. And then Cameron Grimes challenges Duke Hudson to a hair versus hair match at WarGames. So we're going to have a hair versus hair match at WarGames. Now, here's the thing. Duke Hudson is a charming fella, okay? Also another charming fella, but he doesn't have that much hair. He has your average amount of hair for any ordinary dude, okay? Cameron Grimes now has the AJ Styles hair. So when you think they're putting a hair versus hair match together, I have a feeling that this is literally just for Cameron Grimes to go bald. And the reason why I think it's going to be Cameron Grimes going bald is because why would you do a hair versus hair match with Duke Hudson, who only has a little bit of hair? Like, I don't care if Duke Hudson goes bald. Why do I care? I'm going to care more if Cameron Grimes goes bald. Do you care if Duke Hudson goes bald? Please let me know in the comments. Send in your thoughts, guys. So at WarGames, we are getting Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson and a hair versus hair match. Let's see what people are saying here. Let's see. Jesus Christ, these comments. All right, we got people. I don't even know where to start at here. Justin says, with the new look, Grimes looks like he was about to audition to be the lead in a Keanu Reeves biopic. I didn't think he looked like Keanu Reeves. No way. No, he does not look like Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves used to be really good looking. I used to have the biggest crushes on Keanu Reeves as a little girl, but over the years, sorry, Keanu, he's lost it a little bit. Not my type anymore. Used to be, though. Used to be. So I would put Cameron Grimes up there as a little bit more charming than Keanu Reeves. Hey, good for Cameron Grimes. All right. Jeremy Jimenez points out that he believes that Grimes needs the win. I think so too, but I have a feeling that they made this match for him to go bald, which I really hope that's not. Well, I don't know. Do I want to see Cameron Grimes go bald? Not really. Not really. Thank you so much to 54K for sending in a super chat. I didn't write a comment, but I still appreciate you sending in the super chat. I really appreciate it. And let's see what we got here, guys. Let's go through a couple more comments. Justin Martin says, remember Kurt Angle beat Edge in a hair versus hair match. Edge had a lot more to lose there. And let's go through a couple more and see what people are saying. This one's from Matt, who says, another person I went from not caring about to loving. Starting on the first NXT 2.0 episode, meant I haven't seen much from Grimes, but this promo really made me get behind him. He could look bald too. Cameron Grimes has always been a fan favorite, so I think he's going to continue to be a fan favorite. All right. Brandon points out that it looks like I'm having trouble coexisting with myself. I always have trouble coexisting with myself. All right, everybody. Zeno Hour says, whoa. Keanu Reeves used to be good looking. Denise turned heel. I'm sorry, but Keanu Reeves just doesn't do it anymore for me. That's it. It just doesn't happen anymore. But 6-year-old Denise, all over Keanu Reeves, man. Another shout out to 5554K for sending in a super chat. I really, really, really thank you for that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move into our next topic here. All right, so let's talk about the promo or the tease of a new addition to the NXT roster. We are getting some more chicas added to NXT, one of them being Tiffany Stratton. So Tiffany Stratton, she is Jessica Woynilko. I do not know how to pronounce her last name, so pardon me. But Tiffany Stratton, so she is essentially... This is going to be a little bit interesting, guys. I need to talk about this. So first and foremost, let me give a little bit of background here on Tiffany Stratton, because a lot of people, when I posted this, they were like, who is she? Who is she? Who is she? So they did this montage. It didn't really show much of her face. It kind of just showed close-ups of her, her lips, her body. They showed her playing tennis, and she's calling herself Daddy's Little Rich Girl. So she is a former gymnast. She's a former bodybuilder and a CrossFit athlete. So that is her background. She was part of the August recruits to the Performance Center. So she came along with Bobby Stevenson and Joseph Fatu. She was in that exact same performance class that was brought in. Additionally, she has only had one match, guys, prior to this. Or she has just one match. And now she's going to be coming to NXT pretty soon. one match. And that one match was a couple of days ago on 205 Live against Amari Miller. Now, I did not see that match, so I cannot tell you if it was good, if it was bad. I legitimately have no idea because I did not watch it. I did not watch 205 Live, all right? But she goes by Daddy's Little Girl. So this character, what we saw from the teaser, reminds me of White Chicks. Now, you guys know the movie White Chicks. You know, it reminds me of White Chicks. It reminds me of Mean Girls. It reminds me of the hot chick. You're basically your bougie girl that's rich and spoiled and bratty, right? That's the character that she's playing. She's going to be a Regina George type of girl. With that being said, let's think about somebody else on this roster that was going by Bad and Bougie, that was doing the diva type of, I like materialistic things and coming out with the fur coat and doing that very glamorous, kind of a little bit of a, not necessarily like spoiled gimmick, but sort of similar to this. Frankie Monet. If you guys recall, she was doing the Bad and Bougie character, coming out as, you know, the blonde, and hey, she's got her fur and she only likes the finer things in life. And I spoke to her. Her character was obviously, you know, an extension of Taya Valkyrie, but also heavily influenced by, like, you know, your you know, freaking, what's her face? Alicia Silverstone from Clueless, all of that, like those types of characters, right? So it makes me think, all right, well, now this probably, there's a lot of things wrong with this. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because they're bringing in a character was released, and now they're bringing in this character that is kind of like it feels to me like a replacement of what Frankie Monet was doing on NXT. A little bit different with the Daddy's Little Rich Girl, but very, very similar. So that's just something that immediately crossed my mind when I was watching this show. It definitely reminded me of something of which Frankie Monet was doing when she first came into NXT. Not so much to this extent, but still very similar. What did you guys think? Am I too far out on this comparison? Send in your thoughts. What did you guys think of the teaser? Send in some comments here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. This one is from Zeno Hour, who says Tiffany Stratton was fairly decent on 205 Live this past Friday. Someone reminds me of Charlotte in her early NXT days, if it makes sense. Well, she does have a gymnastics background. So if she's incorporating that, that will obviously be something that will add and only elevate her as a performer. Again, I won't be able to touch on this until we actually see her in the ring. But if she's able to really incorporate her gymnastics into her wrestling, then she's most likely going to pick things up, you know, quickly. It all depends on, you know, what kind of athlete she is and if she's picking up things quickly or not. And given the fact that they're already putting her out on NXT, I'm guessing that she's picking it up rather quickly. But again, I have not seen that match on 205 Live, so this is really just an estimation here. Jeremy says, don't remind me of the releases. Apologies, guys. Apologies. And I think we got a couple people making these comparisons, just a couple people here. And all right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the next topic. Friendly reminder, if you are in the stream, please do not be shy. Go ahead and send in your thoughts in the comments section. I will be reading your comments as we go throughout this show. Additionally, if you do want to send in a super chat, I will go ahead and read your comment. Now let's go ahead and jump into the women's match. We had Gacy and Kayden versus Indi and Persia. So we ended up getting Gacy and Kayden got the win. Gacy ended up pinning Indi Hartwell to win the match. In this match, it was not really that great, but we did see Indi Hartwell is still distracted over everything that's going on with Dexter Lumis. So she's distracted. This kind of ends up hurting the team, really, instead of helping the team. And we end up just basically seeing Indi Hartwell gets tagged in, but as she gets tagged in, she's really not moving much. She's not really going in there and doing her very best because, again, they're telling the story that she's distracted. So this obviously ends up helping the other team. Not much else to add there, guys. Not much else to add there. Darth Stevenson says, with Indi worried about Dexter, I really hope they are not already breaking up Indi and Persia. It's way too early for that. See, and that's the thing. If you're Persia, last week, she was left alone to do a handicap match. And granted, I think if I remember correctly, Persia did tell Indi that it was okay to kind of let her go and do her thing. But then at the same time, it's like now you're in this match where she's not really putting that much effort. So if I'm Persia, I'm going to start to get a little angry at Indi. She's not necessarily pulling her weight. So in story-wise, you would think that, hey, they are teasing this breakup and Persia should be upset, right? She should be upset. Now, in terms of them breaking up, I would hope not, because I still think they kind of need each other, and they didn't really get to do that much as an actual team. We only really saw a couple of matches where they were teamed up together, so there's obviously still a whole lot left to be desired with them. Additionally, you don't have very many other teams on NXT for the women, so yeah, you kind of want them to stick together as a team. Thank you so much for sending this in here. And let's get through some other comments here. And Jeremy says, Team A Ninja became fan of the Festival Chicks, but Festival Chicks are fun. Oh, yeah, that was our last week's topic, guys, our Festival Chicks. Let's move on. Santos Escobar versus Malik Blade. Malik Blade, let's give him a little bit of props here, guys. Let's give Malik Blade a little bit of props. He's been a good, consistent jobber on NXT, all right? He's been going out there since September of this year, picking up all these losses. He's lost to Boa. He's lost to Ike Manjiro. He's lost to Tony D'Angelo. He's lost to Duke Hudson, Joe Gacy, Andre Chase, and now Santos Escobar. Let's give it up for our fancy, consistent jobber, Malik Blade. Now, I'm not mocking him. Really, I'm not. Malik Blade, honestly, has been going out there, and he's been very impressive, okay? He's been impressive. That match that he had with Tony D'Angelo, I thought Malik Blade was more impressive in the ring than Tony D'Angelo. So I need to give Malik Blade credit there, okay? I think in terms of he's kind of the guy that's just going out there losing left and right. But you know what? At least his matches, they're not spectacular by any means, but they are good, and it could be a lot worse. So I want to give some sort of credit to Malik Blade, but he goes out there, has a match with Santos Escobar. Nobody's expecting Malik Blade to get the win here. Santos Escobar, who just returned last week, we still don't know why he was even gone in the first place, but he ends up winning with the Phantom Driver. And immediately after this, we have Legado del Fantasma essentially talking about how they're back, and they're back at full strength because they have Santos Escobar. And this still kind of doesn't make sense. We were still talking about this last week. We were talking about how it seems to me that this is very weird. They never really... Carmen Electra wanted Zion Quinn to... Electra Lopez, not Carmen Electra. Electra Lopez... Electra Lopez wants Zion Quinn to essentially join Legado del Fantasma, okay? There was never a point in which we were told why Santos Escobar was gone, and we didn't even know if his team members if this was part of a storyline or not. Like, this was never made clear. But based off tonight, it kind of seems like Legado del Fantasma did not know that Santos Escobar was going to come back. And that was never made clear, ever. They never made that clear. So then they're basically coming out now and basically saying, oh, well, he's back now, so we're okay, we're good. And I'm thinking, what? What? I thought this was just like, I don't know. This does not make sense. Like, the whole Santos Escobar leaving, being gone, and this never being addressed, them looking for a new leader. Zion Quinn says no. Okay, but we're good because Santos Escobar is back. It just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of gaps in this story, okay? A lot of gaps. Does not make sense. Thank you so much to 554K for sending in another super chat. Thank you very much. And everybody's laughing because I called Electra Lopez Carmen Electra. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew it because when I'm writing my NXT notes, there's been times where in my mind, I'm typing out Carmen Electra. All right. Anyways, this continues on. So immediately after this, we have, so they're bragging about how they're back full strength. Cool. Kyle O'Reilly, Von Wagner, they come out and they start asking for the titles. Oh, I'm not a fan of Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. I mean, they're okay, but I'm not like jumping out of my seat for Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly as a team. Anyways, so they come out, they want a title shot. Then there was a very funny line, not really a funny line, but more so a funny delivery on Von Wagner's part, because Legado del Fantasma, they start telling them, dude, we beat you guys already. Why do you want a title shot? We already beat you. Then you start to see, then Von Wagner literally calls them dumbasses because when they beat them, he had his foot on the rope. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even remember this match. I cover NXT every single week, and I do not even remember this match. I had to go back and look. I was like, they're lying to me. They're lying to me. This match did happen. I did talk about it. It did happen. It was in early November, but that's it. I completely forgot about that. But at least they circled back to it. So that is good. I like that. Consistency. All right. Then we have Imperium come out, and this essentially all leads to, or this is going to lead to Legado del Fantasma versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, with the winners facing off against Imperium at WarGames, most likely. Anyways, thoughts on this, everybody? Let's see what people are saying here. Tony says, spoiler, Kyle O'Reilly is not freshly squeezed. My goodness, guys. Pro Wrestling TV says Elektra Lopez is a product of Dexter Lumis mashup. School of lazy naming. Yeah, well, I wouldn't even... Dexter Lumis is not the greatest name, but it could be worse. It could be LA Knight. Unfortunately, sorry, LA Knight. But there was a moment today where Mackenzie interviewed LA Knight, but she referred to him as just LA. She was like, I think she said something like, hey, LA. And I was like, what? This is one of those instances where you use the entire name. Use the entire name. Mackenzie girl, use the entire name. It tripped me out. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know if she's done this before, but it completely tripped me out. I was like, LA? No, don't ruin my city. All right, moving on. Let's go through the rest of this, guys. What else happened here? All right, let's jump into Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade. Cora Jade, I love her. She's gotten over. She's gotten herself over. She shit on coexisting earlier today. She came out here. She's been coming out every single week. And for the most part, people like her because they like her. She's just a likable person. So she comes out, in her skater gear. Earlier, there was a line where Toxic Attraction were talking smack about Cora Jade, and Gigi Dolan literally says, so Mandy Rose says that Cora Jade is just a poser. And then Gigi Dolan says, I bet you she doesn't even know who Tony Hawk is. And I'm thinking to myself, my God. It was kind of a funny line. Anyways, what we got here between Mandy Rose and Cora Jade is the ultimate. It is every single mean girl versus the girl next door plot that I've ever seen. If you watched Lizzie McGuire already, Lizzie McGuire and Kate. You guys remember Lizzie McGuire and Kate? You got Lizzie McGuire, the original dorky girl next door. Then you got Kate, the evil it girl, the popular girl. You got Katie Heron and Regina George. And there are so many other examples that I'm not thinking of right now. This was exactly just that. You had the girl next door with a little bit of edgy who just needs to find herself versus the mean girl, the popular girl, Mandy Rose. And I tweeted that out. And inside my head, I was like, well, in terms of the personalities, it makes sense. Like, my tweet makes sense. But in the movies, the original girl, the girl next door, she always gets the happy ending, and the popular girl always ends up getting screwed, right? Like, something bad always happens to the popular girl. And I started thinking, well, it's not going to happen in this because Mandy Rose is obviously going to get the win. Mandy Rose lost. Lo and behold, we had a whole movie unfold before our eyes. Cora Jade gets the win over Mandy Rose. Granted, she had help by Kaylee Ray because Kaylee Ray came out swinging a bat, the bat that she was swinging earlier on, and she causes a distraction, which is how Jade is able to roll up Mandy Rose and get a quick victory. But either way, she got a victory. It was a non-title match, obviously, but now she's got it. She definitely should be getting some sort of she should be challenging for the belt now. Hell yeah, do it. She got to win. Do it. Also, I should mention that during this, Wade Barrett casually exposed himself as a low-key creep. Yes, he did. He told everybody on NXT that he was browsing Mandy Rose's Instagram account. I popped for that line. That was really funny. And also, it is confirmed that Kaylee Ray is joining Io Shirai, Raquel, and Cora Jade in as the fourth member for WarGames. So we got a super chat from Chair Relax who says, Jade's finisher is a surprise roll-up. Come on. Hey, she still got the win, guys. Damn. She got to win with the distraction and a roll-up. At this point, I'll take it. Let's see what we got here, guys. Jeremy says Mandy had a Shayna moment, losing to a roll-up. Mr. BDD says Mandy Rose stepped backwards, bringing back the Divas era. No, you know what? I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. And the reason for that is Mandy Rose has been working hard and she deserves a lot of credit. She's been going out there. She's been aggressive. She's been showing attitude. Her matches, obviously, she's not going to go in there and wrestle like Charlotte Flair. She's not going to go in there and wrestle like Sasha Banks. No, we're not going to get those caliber matches from her. But when they did Raquel and Mandy Rose and they incorporated the weapons and all of that, that was a good way to sort of protect her in the sense that they were able to sort of hide the fact that she probably can't have those types of matches. So for the most part though, when she goes out there, she doesn't do anything that's necessarily insulting. Like she doesn't insult your intelligence by us having to buy that she's like a great worker. Like she goes out there and she gets the job done. She does her part and that's it, right? So I do think Mandy Rose deserves a little bit more credit. She could go out there, like literally, because she looks great. Like she's a beautiful woman and she looks great. I'm pretty sure she could have gotten by with just that, but she did not. She chose to work hard and actually improve. So I do want to give Mandy Rose some credit for that. And I think I think she deserves some credit, guys. We got a super chat from Sheldon Jackson who says, as Simon Miller says, a surprise roll-up is the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling. I mean, at this point, that is the most, I could agree with that. Additionally, don't trust anybody because at the end of the day, you'll be stuck in a can they coexist feud. Thank you so much, Sheldon, for sending in a super chat. And Jeremy says Mandy has grown into her role as NXT Women's Champion. Yep, I agree, guys. I honestly feel like she deserves some credit. Honestly, I really do think she deserves some credit. All right, guys, let's move on. Before I do, just a friendly reminder that I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, to chat AEW Dynamite. That is my most popular show of the week. So make sure you guys come in. Please come in. Without you guys, Miss Show is like, just a show. So come in, check out the show. It's usually a lot of fun. And then Fridays, I will be back to talk about Smackdown and AEW Rampage. I was gone the last 2 weeks because I've been traveling. I made my official commentary debut at Mission Pro Wrestling, which is owned by Thunder Rosa, and that was freaking phenomenal. I got to do commentary, my first official live show doing commentary. It was kind of a big deal because I was very afraid to do commentary. I did not think that I could do commentary, and I was afraid to do it. And I kind of talked myself into it and giving myself an opportunity. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll do it here and there, right? And then I got an even better opportunity from Thunder Rosa herself, who reached out to me and basically said, let's try this out. Let's do this thing. And then I was like, oh my God. So obviously I said yes. Went out there, got to do it, and now I feel like it's going to be something. It's going to be something, and it's going to be a long road, but I think it'll be a good road. All right, let's move on, everybody. All right, let's go into Okay, let's go what we got here. Joe Gacy and the Diamond Mine. And man, I take back every bad thing I said about Joe Gacy. I take it back because Joe Gacy is now providing me the best meme materials. I literally tweeted like 50 memes today about Joe Gacy. I'm sorry, but his facial expressions give me a lot of inspiration. So now my Twitter account is officially a Joe Gacy meme account. That's it. Anyways, we got some back and forth between Joe Gacy and Roderick Strong. A lot of Joe Gacy being upset about toxic masculinity and weight shaming. This kind of came out of nowhere. When did Diamond Mine weight shame Joe Gacy? Did I miss something? When was Joe Gacy weight shamed? When did this happen? I don't recall any of this. Whatever. That happens. We're going to get Roderick Strong versus Joe Gacy at WarGames. Coup. Jordan Booth says, honestly, I don't get the Joe Gacy character personally. Like, it's just not at all for me, says Jordan Booth. I agree. But you know what? Like, if you've been here for my past shows, you know my thoughts on the Joe Gacy character. But I will give him a very strong pro. And that pro is that he is meme material worthy. Raymond Costa starting some rumors here saying Denise secretly has a Joe Gacy t-shirt. I secretly run a Joe Gacy stan account. I run the Joe Gacy fan club at this point. All right, let's move on. Let's jump into our next topic here. MSK. This has actually been the best little bit that they've done for MSK. So the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, MSK has been out. They've been looking for the shaman. I always forget if it's shaman or shaman. Anyway, so they're out there looking for him. And they've walked to the bus, they've gone to the airport, they've taken a flight, and this time they were finally in a car, I'm guessing a rental, and they get pulled over for only driving 7 miles per hour. So very, very slow drivers. And they end up basically teasing that the cops look for something in their bag. Now, the running joke here is that we do not know what the meaning of MSK is. There's a lot of people that say it's marijuana smoking kids, right? That's what MSK stands for, marijuana smoking kids. Or apparently that's a lot of people are saying it stands for. Okay. So they essentially tease that the cops are going to essentially find weed in their bags. And that's what the segment is. It was funny. Also, one of the things that I've been noticing from this NXT, and somebody pointed out to me on Twitter as well, is that this NXT, and I don't know if they did this on the other NXTs and I just didn't notice, but they've been doing a lot of close-ups on these on this, especially today's episode. We got some mad close-ups of Cameron Grimes, some mad close-ups of Duke Hudson, some mad close-ups of Wesley and Nash Carter, and some mad close-ups of Pete Dunne and a bunch of other people. So we were seeing that a lot here tonight too, and we did see that during this segment here. Someone says I forgot about Ivy Nile. I did not. I'm actually moving right on in to Ivy Nile versus Yulisa Leon. So if you guys recall, we've only seen one televised NXT match with Ivy Nile, and that was, I think, the week she debuted or the week after she debuted. She essentially defeated Valentina Feroz. She defeated Valentina Feroz back in October. October 12th was when she defeated her, and since then, we haven't really seen her do much. She's been going out there with a diamond mine, but she's kind of just been standing around. But she gets this match with Yulisa Leon, and this kind of was like, it was like whatever. She essentially gets her in a submission. While she's doing that, she's also so she has her legs wrapped around her neck, but at the exact same time she is like doing sit-ups, doing all of that. So I kind of think that should have been the end of the match, but they kind of kept it going. She locks her in a sleeper, and then she ends up winning via submission. Not really much to add there. I think for an Ivy Nile, I think the faster, the better. The faster the matches, the more impactful the matches, the better. If she's going to go out there, she's got a very good look. I think that showing more so of her power is probably what's going to get her over a little bit more. This one, not so much. I thought this match, even though it was really short, I think they could have cut it down even more just to make it way more impactful for an Ivy Nile. Because at the end of the day, the point is to get Ivy Nile over. And as of right now, I don't think they're getting her over. I think that they need to make her look more like an unstoppable beast in order to really get her over. And this was like, oh, she's powerful, she's strong and all, and she has a good look, but that's kind of about it. So I think they could like finesse things just a little bit more with Ivy Nile there. But anyways, thank you so much again to 554K for sending in a super chat, which I did not click on. I clicked on the wrong one. But thank you so much for sending that in. Alrighty, and let's go through some. This one's from Tony, basically saying that Ivy Nile has improved thanks to her undefeated streak of 2-0. All right, guys. Let's get into this. We got our last match of the day, and the last match that we got to talk about was a very awesome main event. It was for the NXT North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes defending against Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne. Kudos, man, to Carmelo Hayes. He was impressive in that NXT Breakout tournament. He's been impressive in the matches that he's had in NXT. Cool. He's been impressive, but this match really kind of showed him in a different light for me. I was already seeing him in a positive light, but this match really did it for me. I thought that he went in there and you're in the ring with literally Pete Dunne, who's freaking phenomenal. Johnny Gargano, who is a goddamn legend in NXT and a great freaking wrestler. They don't call him Johnny Wrestling for nothing. If I'm Carmelo Hayes, I'm feeling nervous. I'm going toe-to-toe against these two legitimate guys, so I really got to bring my A game. And he did. He really hung in there with both of these guys, and this made for a very fun, fast-paced, hard-hitting match. If you did not watch NXT tonight, please go out of your way to watch this main event. I urge you to only watch 2 matches from tonight. That was the opening match that we saw with Grayson Waller and Tommaso Ciampa, and then this match here, which was the triple threat for the NXT North American Championship. This was really good. Some of the awesome moments that we saw were Johnny Gargano doing those dives that he does so well, doing them on both guys, hitting a hurricanrana on Pete Dunne. Immediately after that, we see Gargano spear Carmelo Hayes. We see Pete Dunne hit get several strikes on both of these guys. We see a really awesome moment, which was probably my favorite moment of the night, was when Pete Dunne goes for the bitter end on Johnny Gargano, but Johnny Gargano transitions it and ends up getting a DDT on him, and I love Johnny Gargano's DDT, so this was a really impressive little sequence during the match there. And then we saw Pete Dunne hit an ensiguri on Johnny Gargano. Then we saw Johnny Gargano hit a poison rana on Pete Dunne. And then afterwards, Dunne goes for the bitter end, and he's about to go for the pin, but Tony D'Angelo comes and literally yanks him out of the ring. And so this then leads to Carmelo Hayes getting the win. He goes to the top rope. He does like a leg drop on Johnny Gargano and ends up pinning Johnny Gargano. A lot of us thought that Pete Dunne was going to be the one to take the pin. It wasn't. It was Johnny Gargano. This was a really, really good match. It made people, I think if you watch this match, you'll see Carmelo Hayes on another level, because he really did hang in there with both of these guys who are very well established on NXT. And then from here, we ended up going into what we now know will be the WarGames match for the men. So for the men, so leading up to this, let me explain really quickly what happened. We see Tommaso Ciampa coming out. He literally wrecks havoc. He brings a chair and he starts taking people out with it. Then we have more people come in, and this ends up into a brawl. But before they start brawling, they kind of get into their prospective corners and essentially announce WarGames. So what we're going to have is Pete Dunne teaming up with Tommaso Ciampa, with Johnny Gargano and LA Knight, versus Tony D'Angelo, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and Grayson Waller. So the story that they are telling here for WarGames is going to be the new school versus the old school. So you got Pete Dunne, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, who, again, like I said, are very heavily established on NXT. LA Knight, granted, he's not necessarily somebody that you think of when you think of NXT's black and gold brand. Not really, right? But he was obviously incorporated into NXT when it was still the black and gold brand. So it makes sense why he's there too. But obviously it makes more sense for Dunne, Ciampa, and Gargano. But anyways, then you got the new era of NXT. Tony D'Angelo, new. Braun Breaker, new. Carmelo Hayes, new. Grayson Waller, new. So I do like all of this. I think that they chose the 4 guys that were smart. Tony D'Angelo has gotten over because of his character. Braun Breaker, they already told that story with him and Tommaso Ciampa. That was really good. Carmelo Hayes proved himself tonight. Grayson Waller proved himself tonight. So I think they did a really good job of setting up this WarGames match where, like, to the point where I'm looking forward to it. I think that you got enough guys in this match to carry some of the other guys that may not be totally ready. I think you got a really good balance here of talent in this match. So I think this is going to be a fun War Games. As for the women's War Games, it's going to be interesting to see how that one essentially turns out. I don't know how good or strong it's going to be. You do have some good workers in there, but I do think the men's one right now on paper looks a lot stronger though. So send in your thoughts, guys. What do you think about the War Games matches and pretty much anything that we did not cover yet on NXT here tonight? But that was pretty much the entire show here. This is a comment from Michael Jefferson who says, well, if they're already changed everything about NXT, they might as well let the young guys win to really cement a new era of NXT. Also hope the team old school wear matching black and gold gear. Oh, that is good. They definitely should. Hey, if they're promoting the old school era of NXT, they should come in black and gold gear. That makes sense to me. And I see, like, I do think that the new era should win. I get your point, because they're incorporating they're really push the new NXT 2.0. I just can't buy it, man. I can't buy those guys essentially beating the team of, the old school NXT. So that one's going to be interesting. They should have the new NXT guys win, but I don't know if I can buy it though. I'm going to have to see how that match plays out. Brandon sends in a super chat saying, happy early Thanksgiving, Denise. Fun and entertaining post show per usual. War Games will be interesting for sure. It will definitely be interesting. Justin Martin says, old school versus new school is an intriguing angle to take with this match. Only way to make sense of those 8 guys in a match like that. And Danny Spears says old school should humble them. Hell yeah, and they're in a War Games. Beat the living shit out of them. That's what I want to see. Alrighty, guys. That is our show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, please, guys, help me spread the word about the show. Anytime you guys see me tweet out about the show, please help me retweet, drop a like, leave a comment, leave an endorsement. I will take anything. Please make sure to subscribe to F4W Online. Additionally, make sure to drop a like on this video. Leave a comment to help the algorithm. And if you are listening to the audio version of this, do not forget to head on over to F4W Online and hit that subscribe button. Additionally, if you guys want to chat wrestling with me, I am super active on Twitter and I am about to hit 50K. So you guys can hit me up on Twitter @_ Denise Salcedo. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Bye, everyone. Take care.